Hello, Zebstrike Army. My name is Jacob, as always, the head coach for the Green Bay Pikachus, and this is our draft analysis for the WPA, the World Pokémon Association, a draft league my friend Phantombass and I created, where we have a lot of competition, a lot of great guys here, like Omega Jolteon, Ultra Player, aka Josh, Shady, not the Shady Penguin, but just a guy named Shady, Slim Shady. Related to Eminem. I'm just kidding, not the same guy. We have Point Blank, aka Kurt. We have a bunch of great guys here. I'm not going to name off every single person. Max Rapture. Him and I have had a rivalry. We've been in a lot of draft leagues together, and I'm looking forward to having him here again. So, very cool. Going to be a lot of great teams this year, a lot of great Pokemon. And this is an Uber draft league, so we allowed a lot of crazy things like Reshiram, Zekrom, Lunala, Solgaleo, Aegislash. So many scary Pokemon are allowed, and it's going to be a lot of fun this season. Both Greninjas, there are 3 Greninjas: Tauren Greninja, Protean Greninja, and Ash Greninja. So whoever drafted each has to use only that specific form. So say somebody drafted Ash Greninja, you have to use Ash Greninja. You cannot use Tauren Greninja. Just saying. So anyway, so we had the 10th pick. By the way, we're back on YouTube. I know it's been a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks. But that's because our computer was booty. It was ass. Didn't really want to run anything. Our capture card just really wasn't even working on it either. But we got a new computer. A quite expensive computer for my liking. It was like $1,300, $1,200, I think. But it was on sale for like $200-300 off. I gotta thank my friend Jake, my real life friend Jake, for helping me out there. He had a friend who's pretty computer savvy. He gave his friend, I gave him my budget, and then he gave my budget to his friend, and his friend hooked me up with a computer. I didn't put it together or anything; it was pre-built. So I just didn't trust myself putting it together, and I just needed a new computer. And this thing renders videos really crazy. So I already rendered out the WPA Week 1. I'm recording this analysis after Week 1 happened, so I'm not going to let anything that happened in Week 1 affect this analysis. But a 30-minute video, that 30-minute battle, was rendered in 10 minutes. 10 freaking minutes. That's absurd to me. But anyway, I'm not going to go on and on about that, about how crappy my old computer was and how amazing this one is. I'm just going to go over this draft analysis. So we had the 10th pick in the entire draft. So a lot of Pokemon were busted that were gone. Mega Metagross was gone. Palkia wasn't gone. Dialga was gone. Reshiram was gone. I think Zekrom was not gone. I think that was picked right after us. I don't want Zekrom though. I could have picked it for sure, but I think I knew somebody else that wanted it, and like I didn't necessarily want it anyway. I wanted to use something that I think can be just as good if used in the right hands in an Uber draft league like this. And we actually went with a phenomenal Pokemon in Aegislash, and all these Pokemon are going to be shiny. I didn't purposely do that, so I apologize. They're not, and all of my Pokemon are going to be shiny pretty much for Week 1 except for one of them, which I'll get to. Anyway, Aegislash is just such a great Pokemon. It's so versatile. It can do anything. It can be a defensive King Shield Toxic set. It can be Autotomized Swords Dance. It can be Swords Dance. It can be so many things for your team. The fact that Stance Chains is such a busted ability, and the fact that it has King Shield, probably the best protection move in the game. Obviously, it doesn't protect you from like Will-O-Wisp or anything like that, but it's still busted as shit. Come on now, it's great. Like, this thing can check so many Pokemon in the entire game. It's just crazy how many it can. Aegislash is going to be a lot of fun to use this season. I'm not going to go too long on any given Pokemon because, you know, you guys know how great these Pokemon are in general. But I'm really looking forward to using Aegislash. I actually had a chance to use it in like PGL Season 2 or was it 3? But I actually just dropped that league. This was last January, like a year ago, January of 2017, because I just was overwhelmed with too many draft leagues, and that's on me. But now we get to use this bad boy again. And oh boy, Aegislash is gonna... Oh, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're a lot better player than we were a year and a few months ago. So I'm looking forward to using this beast. This should work out pretty well for us. But basically, I wanted to build the entire team around a core of Aegislash plus our next Pokemon being our Mega Pokemon in Mega Lopunny, which I should have genned it as Mega Lopunny, so you could have seen Mega Lopunny here instead of the normal Lopunny, but whatever, it'll have to do. But Mega Lopunny plus Aegislash, oh boy! Aegislash doesn't really like dark types too much, and Mega Lopunny doesn't really like bulky psychic types too much. So they pair up really, really well. And honestly, like, oh boy. And Mega Lopunny doesn't like bulky fairies. Aegislash deals with both of them really well. And then Mega Lopunny deals with Aegislash checks really well. Like, dark types, like I was saying. So that's really great that those two work really hand in hand together. And obviously Mega Lopunny's dual stab is unresisted, except for, it would be, I don't know, I think it's actually unresisted. I'm pretty sure there's nothing that resists both normal and fighting, because of Scrappy there's nothing that's immune to, yeah, I can't think of a single Pokemon, because the only thing that resists normal is like Steel and Rock. So fighting is super effective on that, obviously. And then the only thing that resists fighting is like Psychic, but then normal hits it neutrally. So like there's like nothing can resist it. So basically just bulky Psychic, bulky fairies. Things that resist fighting are Mega Lopunny's basically Kryptonite. Yeah, Kryptonite is the right word. So Mega Lopunny plus Aegislash is going to be spooky for a lot of teams. And next up in the third round, I actually wanted to go and get a Pokemon that is a really good Mega Lopunny check. And that Pokemon is Mew. Mew is phenomenal because it's got base 100 stats across the board, so meaning it can be really, really physically defensive, and it can deal with Mega Lopunny really well. And it actually deals with things like, it's got enough speed where it's not a hindrance to like dark types, because you can just click Run Colbur Berry and click Will-O-Wisp and stuff like that. So it's not a huge hindrance at all, or it doesn't hinder it at all. And it actually can deal with the bulky Psychic and Fairy types because it could set up all over them. Like it could be like Sub-Calm Mind to beat Cresselia. It could be Taunt to shut down bulky fairies like Clefable or Sylveon. Though it doesn't really want to appreciate a Hyper Voice from Sylveon, I would admit. But honestly, Mew is just really great, and it's so versatile. It can be set up, it can be banded set if you want it. It can be like Trick Scarf. It could be just a stall breaking set with Super Fading and Taunt. It can set up rocks. It can defog hazards away. It does what you need it to do any given matchup. Now, Mew's not going to lead us in kills for sure. I know that for a fact. But it's a Pokemon we're probably going to bring that every single week, or most weeks at least, because it can fit any role that you're missing on your team, essentially. And that's what I really love about Mew. I've used it, this is the third time using it now. I used it in the PMC like a year ago when I wasn't that good, so I didn't really get to use Mew to its fullest potential. And then I actually just got to use it recently in UPC, and I brought that team to it was just a Showdown League that my friend Tyler was running, that's Phantombass. And I brought it to a championship. It wasn't my kill lead or anything, but it put in work, and I brought it to, I think, every single week. And I think we can't pass speed in the WPA if I remember correctly. But honestly, if we can, I might pass speed, because in the UPC I passed a Rock Polish into a Alolan Marowak and destroyed a dude's team. It was pretty great. I'm not gonna lie. But anyway, Mew is such a versatile mon, and I'm looking forward to using it. But next up, I wanted a Pokemon that could have hazards, that could hit really hard, that can hit physically offensive or specially offensively, that has good offensive typing, and that Pokemon is Greninja. I've been wanting to use this thing for a long while. And before I forget, Aegislash's nickname will be Clinton Dix. Mega Lopunny's nickname is going to be A-Rod. Mew's nicknames is going to be #GramSocks, and then Greninja's here will be Tyler after Phantombass. But yeah, this thing can get spikes, toxic spikes. You guys know what Greninja does. And it can be a defensive Pokemon too, to be honest. Like, it can take on Pokemon like a Heatran if we needed it to, unless it was a Z-Heatran. It can take on fire types. It can take on some steel types. Depending on those types, Greninja can be a defensive Pokemon because you can invest a lot into bulk and defense because it is so fast already. It's going to be outspeeding mostly everything anyway. So if you needed to go running a defensive Pokemon, you could. But this thing's dual stab with Dark and Water. Man, it's really good. There's not a whole lot that wants to take a Dark Pulse. Or if it wants to take a Surf or Hydro Pump, it doesn't really want to take a Dark Pulse or an Ice Beam. And etc, etc. There's just like, it gets so much coverage, it's crazy. Greninja is probably the best starter of all time, by far, except for maybe like Zardex, but even then, Greninja has gotten more treats than Zardex. Protean and Battle Bond. I guess Charizard got 2 Megas, but those are, like, Protean and Battle Bond are better than 2 Charizard Megas, I would say, because it's so good, and because it can run items alongside that, which is absurdly stupid. But yeah, we have Torrent Greninja, not Battle Bond or Protean. Torrent Greninja is totally cool, and it's going to be a real solid Pokemon on our team. And I'm really looking forward to use it this scene. Like, I'm going to be saying that for all these Pokemon, but it's really true. I've used some of these Pokemon in the past, like Aegislash and Mew, but Mega Lopunny and Greninja I have not used, so definitely looking forward to using them. I could have, like, I think at this point I could have went, like, Protean or Battle Bond and Greninja, like, with my first pick instead of Aegislash. But I knew I just wanted normal Greninja, and that's why I picked it in round 4, so it might be a little bit too early to pick it. But nonetheless, hey, I wanted to do it anyway. Next up, we have another Pokemon with our 5th pick that we actually haven't used before either, and I've been wanting to use this Pokemon for a while now. In my UPC team, I had a Regenerator Pokemon called Amoonguss. I know you guys know what that is, but I wanted another bulky grass type that has Regenerator, and that Pokemon is actually Tangrowth. Tangrowth is a very solid Pokemon. It can be Assault Vest a lot of weeks. It can be defensive. It gets so much coverage. Not a lot of coverage, but it gets enough coverage where it's not going to be setup fodder for like a lot of Pokemon. So it gets Rock Slide for like full Corona, so it can't switch it. Knockoff is really solid just to remove items. It's such a great pivot. It's such a glue Pokemon, and I really think it's not important to have a Regenerator Pokemon on every single team you draft, because obviously not everyone could have a Regenerator Pokemon. Well, I guess they probably could if they drafted like Duosion or Tangela or the mini evolutions, the pre-evolutions, so like the more well-known Regenerator Pokemon like Tangrowth, Rainiclus, Amoonguss, etc. But I really like glue Pokemon. Each team should always have a glue Pokemon. I guess in a way, Mew is kind of like a glue Pokemon as well, but Tangrowth also is, because you can just switch it in with an Assault Vest, and you can pretty much scout anything that's like not like a physically offensive flying or fire type in on this, and you can scout what type of set it is. If I want to switch this into like a Kyurem, like I could switch it in and check what type of Kyurem it is, whether it's Life Orb or hopefully you don't click Icium Z or anything like that. Kyurem Black, I guess I should say, because Kyurem White and like normal Kyurem would probably destroy it, but Kyurem Black you could scout what type of Kyurem Black set it is, or you can switch it into a Terrakion nicely to scout that set easily enough. There's so many things you can just switch this thing in on, and you can scout this set and then immediately switch out and get your regen right back. And it's really great, honestly. Tangrowth is going to be such a glue Pokemon for his team, and it's going to be great for us to have and use. And I have to actually redo this, and not this right now, but I had to redo it before, because I recorded this last night. I wanted it out earlier than Monday night, but it's not going to go until like Monday at like 8:30 or 9 o'clock. I'm recording this at 7:45, so I will edit this and it'll render really fast, and it'll be out by like 7 or 8:30, 9 o'clock. So guarantee you that. That'll be really cool. But Tangrowth is right here. Next up, I wanted more power to the team because I was anticipating us to draft Sticky Web later in the draft, and I wanted to draft this Pokemon now because I didn't think it would last much longer, and that Pokemon is Nidoking, aka Claymaker. Tangrowth's nickname is going to be Jerk because it's kind of a jerk Pokemon that doesn't want to die. Claymaker, Nidoking is a ground type. Clay Matthews, groundish type. Claymaker, I hope Clay Matthews actually comes better with the Packers defensive line. He probably should, with Muhammad Wilkerson, Mike Daniels, Kenny Clark. Yeah, Clay Matthews should have a better season this year, so that's good. Maybe he'll go back to his old form from like 5 years ago. Wishful thinking, I know, but still, nonetheless, we got Nidoking here. This thing is a beast. What do I need to say about Nidoking that hasn't been said? Sheer Force, Life Orb. You don't really need to run another item. Life Orb is just the best Nidoking item, and there really isn't much. Like, why would somebody even argue that? Like, Life Orb's such, like with Sheer Force Pokemon, Life Orb's such a busted item. It's crazy. It's so crazy. And this thing gets so much coverage, rocks, and it gets T-Spikes as well. 85 speed tier is really nice. Right now our speed tiers are looking pretty nice. We have 135 Mega Lopunny, 122 Greninja. I forgot to talk about Greninja really quick, but also on Greninja, it outspeeds like Tornadus and Dugtrio and those base 120, 121 mons, so that's really cool. Then we go to Mew at 100, HS at 60, base 50 Tangrowth. So we're starting to develop our speed tiers, and Nidoking really helps with that. So I've used Nidoking once before in the old WPA from like a year and a half, 2 years ago, in September of 2016, where we were just doing it where no legends were allowed, so that was really cool. And we drafted Nidoking there, and it was such a beast. It put in a lot of work. And that was before we had webs, so spoiler, we get sticky web this game, or this draft, and it's going to be scary, so it's going to be fun to use. I won't bring it every week, but it's there, and people have to prep for it. So if they don't prep for webs and we bring webs, they could get scientifically screwed. That's all I'm going to say about that. But anyway, I'm not going to go on about Nidoking. Nidoking is such a beast. It's such a strong-ass Pokemon, and you don't really need to talk about it that much. You know what it does. You know it's going to be there, but can you stop it? We'll see. But next up in round 7, I was just looking for gems for Pokemon that like shouldn't be there, and lo and behold, I found Thundurus Incarnate. Thundurus Incarnate was there in round 7, guys, and I'm just like, oh, I gotta pick this bad boy up. Now I want to state, I should have stated this earlier, but we had a 125 point limit for Pokemon in general, like, so we could draft anywhere from 9 to 12 Pokemon based on a 125 point limit. Each thing was limited from 1 point to 20 points. All the Uber Pokemon are pretty much 20 points, and I want to state this. Uber Pokemon cannot be Z Pokemon, so we cannot have Z Aegislash at all on our team, so there's that. However, we can have Z Thundurus I, and that's what we did. So how Z Pokemon worked is we had 25 points to spend. So say a Pokemon was 10 points, that would take away from your 25 point total for your Z Pokemon, and you'd be left with 15. We are actually selected Thundurus as one of our Z Pokemon, so I think it was a 16 point mon, maybe. Was it? I think it was a 16 point mon. So Thundurus is definitely one of our Z captains on our team. I could have made Mew or Greninja, because Mew EMZ is allowed, but Mew was 18 points, and then I really wanted like two pretty decent. I wanted one really good Z user, and then like another pretty decent one. And I wouldn't have gotten that if Mew was my Zmon. I would have had to have like non-ideal choices for it. So I decided with Thundurus rather than Mew. So Thundurus is one of our Z Pokemon, and this thing has Prankster Defog. So it's one of our 2 hazard removers. We didn't draft a lot of hazard removal again, because the more intertwined, I guess, the more I get used to draft format, the more I feel like I just don't need hazard removal. Honestly, I think hazard removal to a degree is kind of overrated, personally. If you guys want to get hazard removal, like, go for it. Personally, I don't. If I see a scary-ass Pokemon, I'm going to rather grab that if it's more offensive, because I play more offensively now than defensively. Like, when I played more of a defensive player, yeah, I would have definitely wanted hazard removal. But now that I play more defensively, or sorry, more offensively, I don't. Because I don't allow hazards to get set up on me a lot, because I build a lot more offensively. So, not that I won't ever build defensively, or bring Stem Ice Stall or anything, but I can bring more offensive teams and bring a more offensive draft a more offensive team, and my team's not as weak to hazards. Like, our team's really not that weak to hazards. Overall, I'm not really too worried about hazards. Like, if they get set up, whatever. Most matches, like, people just bring rocks anyway. Like, people can hazard sack on us. So if they want to, they totally can, and I wouldn't put that past them at all. Like, they definitely should hazard sack at us, because we have booty hazard removal. So Thundurus I is just a nice. It is reliable, because you switch into the rocks. As long as it's not dead, it'll remove hazards for you. So. And it's a nice hazard deter, hazard removal deter, because of Defiance, so they can't just spam defog. they want to defog, they could give us a +2 boost. And we're a lot faster than Bisharp is. So you want to remove our hazards, you're going to have to pay the consequence, because Thunderous Eye is going to body bag you. It's going to kick you right in the ass more than Red Foreman kicked Eric Foreman in the ass. So that's going to be such a good show. But anyway, Thunderous Eye nickname will be Scruffy Thunderous, because I name all my electric types after my good friend, the Scruffy Fox, aka Mark. So there's that. Thunderous is going to be powerful. It's going to be scary. And you have to prep for it, obviously, because it's Thunderous. And I'm going to be looking forward to using this one of the 3 genies. I think I've used Tornadus. I think the only forms I had, no, I've never used Landorus Eye, and I haven't used Tornadus Eye and Thunderous T. So I'm only halfway there with the genies. I'm slowly working my way to using all the genie Pokemon, but I have used Thunderous Eye once before. That was almost a year ago too, and I wasn't that good at Pokemon. Like, it wasn't as good as I am now. I'm not like good. I'm not saying I'm good. I'm just saying I'm a lot better than I was. So Thunderous Eye should put in the work for us this season. I'm definitely looking forward to using it. But next up, we actually have our Sticky Web user and Slurpuff, Brienne the Slurpuff to be specific. This thing should be great. It can set up as well. There's so many Pokemon that can set up on our team. It's great. Belly Drum, Calm Mind, Cotton Guard. It gets Sticky Web. It's a Cleric. It gets Wish. It gets crazy coverage like Surf, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Play Rough, Drain Punch. This thing can hit so hard, and I don't know what people want to do against it. We could bring. There's not a set that I'm afraid to use. I will use whatever this situation calls for. So there probably won't be a Pokemon we bring every single week. Maybe about half the weeks. Maybe like 6 games or so. Maybe 7, 5. I'd say 5 at the least. 7 at the most probably. But right in the middle at 6 I'm going with. But Slurpuff's nice. I'm not going to go on too much on it because it's already been 22 minutes and I thought this was going to be short. But then I forgot it was me and I like to ramble. So there's Slurpuff for you. I just want to be short and discreet and to the point. So Slurpuff, ladies and gentlemen, Substrike Army. Next up, I wanted a Dragon Pokemon. I realized our team is pretty weak to Darmanitan and Arcanine and a lot of fire types actually. So I'm actually went with Druddigon here, a bulky dragon type that should be kind of nice for the team. Should be a nice backbone for the team. Because if Darmanitan wants to collect Flare Blitz versus our team, which is pretty spammable, I can't remember if anyone has Darmanitan, but it's not going to be appreciating a Ruskin or Rocky Helmet or the Recoil. That's a lot of damage right then and there. That's like almost 50% of its health after all that, especially if it's like banded. 2 hits from hitting Druddigon, which won't even kill, I don't think, if we're physically defensive. Unless it's like Adamant Band, maybe. Yeah, it's not really going to be appreciating Druddigon. So that's awesome. Plus, we could kill with Sucker Punch anyway, so that's nice. Also, this thing has 3 good abilities in Ruskin, Mold Breaker, and Sheer Force. And don't be surprised if I run a Life Orb Sheer Force set with this under webs at one point or another, because we definitely could very well run a set like that. And Druddigon is bulky enough to effectively do that. And yes, it's slow at 48 speed, I think it is. But still, our speed tiers are like pretty balanced all around. There's not really a huge gap between anything. That I'm okay with running Life Orb Druddigon under webs. I will definitely do that if the situation calls for it. But it has a lot of coverage moves as well. And it might be stuck in like 4 Moveslot syndrome a little bit. But you know what? We're going to get through it regardless. Druddigon should be great. Actually never used Druddigon before. So I'm definitely looking forward to using this Pokemon for sure. Not more than like a lot of other stuff like Greninja, Tangrowth, and I guess and Mega Lopunny, but Druddigon's still up there. Like I'm still excited to use it. Again, like it'll be like Slurpuff where I don't bring it every week, but maybe like 4 to 5 games this season it'll come for sure. It's just a nice rocker. This is our 3rd rocker behind Mew and Nidoking, so we're gonna get 2 more rockers, so don't you worry. But next up, I actually wanted a way to set up Aurora Veil. I know Mew can, but I don't want to run Hail and Aurora Veil on Mew. So we actually grabbed a Snow Warning Pokemon in Aurorus. So yeah, we're getting an Aurorus on our team because Refrigerate as an ability is actually really cool. And a lot of Pokemon really don't want to appreciate a Hyper Voice or a Return depending if we go physical or special. Yes, its attack isn't that great, but if we invest and run like Icicle Plate or we run Life Orb or something like that, it could actually hit pretty hard. Definitely. And I think it might get Double Edge too. I know it gets Return, obviously, but this thing actually could hit pretty effectively and pretty hard on the physical offensive side of that route. But yeah, we can run it with Snow Warning and Aurora Veil Mew. For whatever reason, Aurorus doesn't get Aurora Veil. Game Freak, you should really fix that for Gen 8. If Aurora Veil is still a TM, that is. But nonetheless, Aurora Veil is such a crazy busted move that I really wanted to take advantage of with it, that Mew had that. And plus, the awesome thing about this is that we set up Hail. Say we have Mega Lopunny or Greninja. Hail's going to hit a lot of Pokemon because not a lot of teams have Ice types, I've realized. Sometimes they do, like if they get something good like Weavile or something like that. But a lot of teams really don't have Ice types, and they don't like prioritize Ice types, I think. Even though Ice is a phenomenal offensive typing, Ice Rock really is. Then again, like yeah, Ice Rock really is. The only thing it really can't hit very hard is like Steel types. I know it gets Earth Power, maybe Earthquake too. But honestly, Aurorus is going to be a Pokemon that I would probably bring a couple times this season. Maybe even more, depending on team matchups. I haven't looked at all the team matchups yet, but Aurorus will be solid, I think, for our team. I've been saying that about all these Pokemon, but I feel comfortable using a lot of these Pokemon. And I realize our team is kind of weak to fighting, but not really, because we have Immunity and Aegislash, and then we have Mew and Nidoking and Thundurus, so whatever. I'm not too worried about fighting types, actually. But anyway, that is Aurorus. Should be a nice Pokemon for us. Another Stealth Rock user. So there's that. Next up, though, I wanted to pick another Z user that was actually pretty effective that could set up. And that Pokemon is actually Houndoom. Because our team was kind of weak to Ghost. Yeah, we have an Immunity and Mega Lopunny. And Greninja resist it. But I wanted I know Houndoom is not the bulkiest Pokemon in the world. But it is another resist to Ghost. And another resist to Dark for that matter, too. I just wanted to be kind of safe on that in that regard, so I actually just went with Houndoom here. Houndoom is a nice user, especially under webs, because we can set up a Nasty Plot and then potentially just click a Z Fire move or a Z Dark move, or even Z Solar Beam. I think it gets, and just nuke something if we need to. Also, I wanted to state Z Sunny Day is actually in effect because we did not ban status Z moves. The only Z moves we banned were Omni boosting moves and evasion moves, because, you know, you should just prep for Z status moves. I'm not really too particular. I'll play with any like Z stat. I'll play with any Z move like rule set. If they want to ban status moves, cool. That's fine. That's less for me to prep for. But if a league doesn't want to ban status moves, that's perfectly fine. I didn't really care regardless, to be honest. I'm not really too worried about it. So. Just a minute though. Hold on. I'll check that after this draft analysis. But yeah, Houndoom is actually pretty solid for sure. I really like it. So honestly, it's a solid poke. It should be a solid Pokemon to bring a couple times this season. And we'll bring it defensively if we have to. But it's an immunity to fire too and flash fire. So I thought that was pretty cool because we didn't have the best fire switches in the world. Greninja's not a fire switches. So we kind of had to go this route. Our team definitely has its weaknesses, but at the same time, we can build in a way that our weaknesses shouldn't really matter, and Houndoom should be a nice Pokemon to bring. We only had 1 point left at this point. We had 11 Pokemon and 1 point left, so I decided to go kind of meme-ish, and we're gonna pick Pineco. Yes, more hazards, because in our second hazard remover, our second of 2 only. We have Rapister and this and Defog and Thundurus, but we have Toxic Spikes, and Rocks with Pineco. We can just set up hazards and click Explosion so we can't be setup fodder for other things, so I thought that was pretty cool. And honestly, if we have to, we'll bring Pineco, but I don't really see us bring this, if at all. Maybe once this season, we'll see. Maybe we'll drop it and drop Houndoom. I doubt we're going to drop Houndoom. I'm not one. I really don't make a whole lot of transactions, if I'm being honest, in draft leagues, because I just like drafting one Pokemon the entire time, or drafting one team, and it's like, hey, this team looks good enough to win on paper, let's go for it. That's usually kind of like what I like doing. So anyway, that's Pineco. Like, You don't really say much about Pineco. You don't really need to say much about Pineco. And I tried to keep this short, but it's going to be over 30 minutes long, so there's that. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Zipstrike Army, we are back. We have another draft league. More content creation is going to be coming soon. So that's awesome. We're going to be doing a series with Corey, aka Dunsbus for the win, aka the Great Angel, aka the Jerk. Coming real soon. I'm not going to reveal what it is, but you guys will know when that happens. Because we have a new computer and my PC is a beast and can push out videos like its job, because it's going to be its job. And we're going to start streaming again soon. We'll probably stream some Fortnite because I'm addicted to that game. Which I'm not the best at it, but I am loving Fortnite. Fortnite is such a freaking fun game. And we'll probably stream some Pokemon. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some content creation. I don't know if I'll do any videos on Fortnite, but we'll see. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, Zipstrike Army, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I love you all so very much. Adios, Zipstrike Army. Bye-bye. Peace.